Good morning, members of Congress, Ambassador Kopetsky, Senator Zbigniew-Romaszewski, Deputy Speaker of the Senate of Poland, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Library of Congress. I begin by thanking Mr. Storożyński and thank the Kosciuszko Foundation for organizing this important event. I'm glad that both Ambassador Kopetsky of Poland and Ambassador Sergei Kislyak of Russia have agreed to join us this morning. To both of you, I say that your presence is a bellwether of the process of understanding and reconciliation that has developed between your two countries in the sad time in which the airline tragedy was superimposed on the remembrance of Katyn itself. To the other ambassadors here today, to the many fine scholars who will speak to the Polish American and Russian American communities, to all of you, we appreciate your taking part in this important commemorative event. What happened in Poland 70 years ago was one of the great atrocities of the World War II era, and it is fitting that a conference should be held not only to commemorate the victims of that tragedy, but also to develop a fuller understanding of the awful events and finally move, as has been said, through truth to reconciliation. As Mr. Storożyński said only a month ago, I'm quoting him, only a month ago, many Poles thought that reconciliation was unthinkable. Certainly, who would have believed 25 years ago that an independent Poland and a post-communist Russia would emerge, and that government officials and scholars from both countries would be able to join together with Americans and others at an event such as this one. With a freer Eastern Europe has come greater freedom of information. Many archives are now open, and the Library of Congress and other Western repositories have collected material about this painful event in Poland, Polish, and Russian history. This library holds a large number of government documents, monographs, articles, and electronic resources about this subject. Curators have prepared a reader's guide to selected Library of Congress resources on the Katyn massacre. This guide is available for those attending this conference and will be posted on the European Reading Room website of the library. More can be done still to open up archives in the United States, Poland, and Russia. The United States Congress published in 1952 the results of its extensive investigation of Katyn, and yet it did not exhaust all U.S. documents on the subject. There were still materials, as Alan Paul's latest book mentions, that were not available to the public. We look to all three countries to open their archives, and the Russian government has taken a step in this direction, as was mentioned, by recently placing important documents on the Internet. This is an impressive and historic gathering of government officials, scholars, and other notables. It is a chance for real dialogue about these painful events, and I wish you good and open discussions. I also welcome the Kosciuszko Foundation as the major co-sponsor of this event in cooperation with the U.S. Helsinki Commission, the Cold War Studies Program at Harvard, the Memorial Human Rights Protection Center in Moscow, the Polish Embassy in Washington, D.C., and the Council to Preserve the Memory of Combat and Martyrdom. And again, I thank Ambassador Kopetsky and Ambassador Kislyak for coming here today. I hope you will return soon to visit with us and to use the Library of Congress, both here on Capitol Hill and online everywhere, with our growing World Digital Library that operates in 7 languages and is helping to broaden the understanding of all 193 countries in UNESCO whose materials are present already on this resource. And I wish you all a very successful conference today on a very profound and important subject. And it's now my pleasure to introduce, this is, after all, the Library of Congress, and we're very privileged to have Senator Barbara Mikulski, who began her long and distinguished congressional service in the House of Representatives in 1977. Her great-grandparents came from Poland. She is a lifelong champion of the rightful place of all ethnic Americans in American society. She has many constituents and admirers on the staff here of the Library of Congress. She is a great champion of good causes, and it is a great honor and pleasure to welcome her here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Barbara Mikulski.